The West Indies arrive at Edgbaston today for the third test. After 2 weeks of their cricket history, they may prefer to forget. Just over a week ago, they were beaten by England at Lord's for the first time since 1957. Winston Benjamin was sent home to the Caribbean for fitness and disciplinary reasons, and they were well beaten, and by an innings by Sussex, the first county to beat the West Indies for almost 20 years. Well, welcome to the highlights of the first day's play of this third test match at Edgbaston, and the question around the ground this morning was very much how would the West Indies react? Here's a word now from their skipper Richie Richardson.
Well, we've told him that still even Stevens, and we've got to get the lead in this test match. We've got to be positive, we've got to back ourselves, and look forward to having a very successful time.
Well, the West Indies have made one change. Kenneth Benjamin comes back into the side for Otis Gibson. England, too, have made one change from their squad originally announced. They've left out Lancashire's Mike Watkinson, but there is a test match debut for his county colleague Jason Gallion, another of the real success stories of England's A tour of India. I wonder if he'll make the kind of impact that Dominic Cork enjoyed at Lord's. As for the toss, well, Richie Richardson called incorrectly, and Michael Atherton decided to bat on what looked, from a distance anyway, to be an interesting pitch. Here's an assessment of it now by Geoffrey Boycott.
Well, a very windy morning. If we look at this pitch, you can see how it's been shaved at the end. 12 feet, you can see there the discoloration. Both ends have been shaved to help the spinners a little bit as the match progresses. If we come further up on a length for the seamers, you'll see it's one of the, well, I would think one of the worst looking pitches I've seen for a test match. Cracks all over the place, it's very dry deep down, and it's patchy. You see here these green bits, green grass. If you just touch them, it freshens up. And then here, I think there's some pace in it early on, because I think deep down this pitch is hard, but I think the seamers will have most impact during this game. As the match progresses, there'll be more and more uneven bounce.
Well, that does sound quite interesting, and it certainly sounds from what Geoffrey Boycott says that there might be some variable bounce in this pitch, certainly in the first session of play. And one of the real problems for the West Indies is that their two main bowlers, their most experienced bowlers, Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh, each has been under something of a fitness cloud in recent weeks. They've also done a great deal of very hard work. So, would the West Indies bounce back? Well, here's the first ball of the day. It's Curtly Ambrose as the bowler. Michael Atherton is the man taking strike. Well, what an extraordinary start to this test match. 4 runs, and the ball hasn't struck the bat yet. And there's a start. That's precisely the start they wanted. Atherton has gone. Ambrose has done it. That steepling first delivery, and then a couple more at Atherton, and then he's found the outside edge with one that climbed quite sharply.
Well, it was a beauty that. It just bounced a bit on Michael Atherton, got him fending for it. It's always difficult as an opener, those first few balls. You're not quite sure of the pace and how much bounce is there. It gets him feeling away from his body a little bit, and it carries nicely. Yeah, that's a dream start for West Indies. Absolute dream.
The pavilion is just away to the right of our commentary box here, and Graham Hick emerges from it. It's a measure of Stewart's character that he can raise a smile after that. That has lifted straight at his throat. From shortish, but not all that short.
But I think that uneven bounce will not go away. If anything, as the match progresses, it might even get slightly worse.
Just a little tester. And Courtney Walsh was well aware there'd be some bounce there if he dropped one really short. But that's just a reminder for the batsman. Gone, got him. Second time. Bounced away from the slip man at second, away to the right, was taken, and the second wicket goes down, and Stewart has problems as well.
Well, that was beautifully bowled. Absolutely beautifully bowled. Nice bit of pace. No wonder they're thrilled to bits. Lovely line he bowled. Again, we saw Michael Afton got out by Curtly Ambrose, the line outside off stump. Makes your batsman play. Out there, you've got to play at it. That ball's coming on off stump, off the middle. Oh dear, but his heart was in his mouth. Till third slip caught it.
9 for 2 at the moment, and Graham Thorpe on his way out. No wonder the fielding side's looking happy at the moment.
Just short. Just short of the slips there. I'll tell you one thing, Alex Stewart and his colleagues won't be lunging forward too often on this pitch at this stage.
Yes, this ball kept a little bit low on Alex Stewart, and I think that saved him actually.
One minor side issue with his drop catch. Alex Stewart, as he nicks this one away, bounces just short of Ian Bishop, and then somewhere in here is some pain. He was straight off the field once he'd got himself up, picked himself up off the deck. Great shots. First boundary of the match, and a certain Caribbean flavour to it as well.
Well, this is good for England, because I mentioned that I didn't feel at Lord's that the West Indies bowlers were comfortable bowling at Graham Thorpe. So if Thorpe gets in and starts to get a few runs, it's going to take a little bit of the initiative away from the West Indies, particularly with the West Indies getting those 2 early wickets.
Well, that's well bowled and well played. Guided down. And the boundaries at Edgbaston is straight, and therefore down to third man long leg at pavilion end pretty short. So successive boundaries for Graham Thorpe. Well, that's in the air. But 4 runs. There's a ring of 4 slips in the gully. That was to Gully's left hand at very catchable height. That's the better shot. To Keith Arthurton's left this time, and beautifully timed. So the runs flowing for Graham Thorpe, and that was pure timing.
Thorpe has been the batsman, I think, of the Test match at Lord's, who showed the best. He just looked confident, and his technique is almost perfect.
That's a lovely shot. 2 fall this time from Courtney Walsh. Graham Thorpe really has dealt very effectively with anything at all loose, anything over-pitched, off stump, and now leg stump. Well, that's typical Alex Stewart. Once you give him just that little bit of space on the up outside off stump, and the footwork on the edge of the field not up to it. So 4 runs to Stewart.
Well, again, this one's short of a length, and Alex Stewart this time perfectly placed. Didn't bounce as much as you would have expected, or Ambrose, but the timing was perfect. Even Keith Arthurton couldn't get to it.
The first bowling change of the morning, Ian Bishop replacing Courtney Walsh at the City end. That's past Jimmy Adams, who brings up the England 50. And that represents something of a recovery for England. They were 1 down with no runs on the board, 2 down with 9 on the board. And thanks to these two, Graham Thorpe and Alex Stewart, They're now 51 for 2.
It's in the air, it's gone, and Thorpe has gone. That's a real surprising bounce, and that's the nature of this pitch. Graham Thorpe has 30 runs on the board, and yet he was surprised by the sudden bounce and just fended the ball away into the hands of Gully. And Robin Smith, the man who fought it out so well in the Lord's Test match, will have to do the same again. It's good batting is required from England. Oh, that kept low, a big shout there. And that was turned down by Ian Robinson, the international umpire from Zimbabwe.
This is good bowling here by Ambrose. This one is pitched up a little bit. Perhaps the bounce defeated him because it might have hit high enough for it to be passing over the top of the stump. But certainly was straight.
Superb shot. The very best of Alex Stewart. Very firm-footed. Doesn't move around too much. No great bodily movement, but a sort of metronome timing. Courtney Walsh is leaving the field.
Courtney Ambrose seemed to be having some problems. He did start running in and then he's holding his groin, and this would not be good news for the West Indies.
Oh, and Ambrose has gone. Ambrose is seriously limping, in great discomfort there. So no sooner has Courtney Walsh gone off than Curtly Ambrose breaks down, clutching for the groin area. The signs, Colin Croft, are not good.
No, certainly not good. You can see the rhythm here is not, his knees are not coming up, and just after he delivers, he just literally falls away, which suggests that one of his, perhaps his inside groin, or maybe just his knee is gone. He's been holding his right knee for a bit. So I think that this is very bad news for the West Indies.
Yard. Picked that up really quick, did Alex Stewart. Banged it in. One for the over, up the shoulder height. And I don't think he'll mind that too often, Alex Stewart. He got a good sighter of that ball very early as it's banged in short. Right off the middle. What's out? That's out. That is out. No doubt at all about that. I mentioned his concentration was going. He played really well. He is cross with himself. Rightly so. That is nothing more than a lapse in concentration. Straightish ball, just angles in a little bit, and he plays right through it with no feet. Both feet stuck in the batting crease. And that's a big blow, as well as a big disappointment to the individual.
Very well bowled by Kenny Benjamin, who's found the outside edge of Stewart's bat a couple of times and has bowled with plenty of pace and fire out there.
Oh, just over the top. Nothing he could do about that. Frustration for Courtney Walsh. And it was really an involuntary shot flying off what looked like the shoulder of the bat. Oh, he's got in. Jason Gallion will feel he's very unlucky with that. Dragged it back on from wide of the off stump. And the inside edge, probably onto pad as well, just dislodged the bails. So A sad end to Jason Gallion's first Test match innings. The net result is West Indies have the 5th wicket of the day. England have the 100 up, but at that cost of 5 wickets. Right through him. Oh, strong shot. A lot of momentum in the shot. And a futile chase.
Well, it's that sort of shot again that it's real no sort of shot. No footwork, just stands there trying to run it. The third man, and well, I think Walsh will just keep bowling there. He's exasperated that he can't get Dominic Cork to nick it, but he just keep bowling it there until he does.
LBW. And we may find that Cork didn't get very far forward there. He looked as though he was coming from round about the middle of the batting crease and then probably got his pad just outside the crease itself. Dominic Cork out OBW to Walsh for 4 and 109 on the board now for 6. Very good shot. It was no more than a little short arm jab. They're very, very powerful short arms. Smith too much that has come off the outside edge.
In the air caught, brilliantly caught. What a shame. Keith Alston was the catcher, beautifully caught. What a shame that Darren Gough just couldn't fight it out for one more ball in that over.
He's had the short balls, driven him on the back foot, and he's hitting that Caribbean style off the back foot straight at cover point. And that's very good bowling by Bishop, who shook him up in the over and then pitched it up, and Gough's holed out.
Yes, Ian Bishop concentrated then on going to the edge of the crease, slanting the ball into Gough, who played it very well to that point. That was a very good catch by Arthurton. New batsman Peter Martin.
Well, I think what will happen now, he might look to play a shot or two more. I think he's pretty smart enough to keep looking at that scoreboard and seeing 7 wickets down. That tail could get blown away quick.
In the air, catch to 4th slip where there was no one standing, and 4 runs. Well, Kenny Benjamin must feel a little bit angry about that. There's no point in being angry after the event.
Well, I think this shot came from what I was saying. See, that's a little bit wide. He's never gone for a shot like that today at all. His concentration never wavered, but now I think he's looking for the shots. So I think Robin could afford to just play sensibly for a bit. He's batted beautifully.
Oh. Terrific shot. That, I guess, is his strongest point. Square on the offside. Is it a terrific clatter?
I think that's the best shot today. Absolute classic, this. I couldn't see a better shot.
He's hit that high in the air, that might well be caught. But it's a no ball. The West Indians race away to congratulate the catcher, but just look at the umpire. He's the key man in this situation. No doubt Kenny Benjamin's heart was fluttering down there, but that really was a scooping shot, always intended to be high in the air. Oops, it didn't, just stuck, you know. It's in the air and he's out. Atherton again at cover. Robin Smith looking for what is really his favourite stroke, square on the offside. It looked at nothing ball, but he's gone, caught by Atherton, Bull Bishop of 46, and it's 141 for 8. Rather a scoop. He usually blasts it with a terrific scythe of the bat from outside off stump. Maybe it got a bit close at the end.
Interesting that that one was nearly very, very close to being another no ball. Ian Bishop had already gotten a wicket with a no ball, and that one was very, very close.
$141 for 8, so Richard Illingworth is out there taking guard. Well, that beats keeper and first slip and races away for 4 runs off the pads. Could easily have ricocheted onto the stumps, of course, but that is the end of the Bishop over. It's 146 for 8.
Straightforward and very well taken. Straightforward nick from Peter Martin. It took a good diving catch just to complete the dismissal. It's one of those catches at slip that you see all the way clearly. It's just a question of making sure it goes in the hands properly. Peter Martin out for 1. And England 9 down for 147. With Angus Fraser, the last man available. Illingworth and Fraser, the final partnership of this innings. That's one way of hiding from the pressure. Got him. That's the end of England's innings. Ian Bishop absolutely on target, and Richard Illingworth, feet nowhere near it. England all out for 147.
Well, that's a thorough disappointment for England. 147 for them after they won the toss and batted. There was certainly a bit of unusual lift there at different times, but only 3 men reached double figures, 37 for Stewart, 30 for Thorpe, and 46 for Smith. Extras down the bottom managed 18, but 147 all out. And to put it in perspective, just to look at the partnership, Stewart and Thorpe 44 and Stewart and Smith 31, and then just 16, 15 and 17. And that's all reflected in the bowling figures for the West Indians. Ambrose 7.5 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 26, but a thorough team effort. 3 for 54, 3 for 18 and 2 for 45 for Walsh, Bishop and Benjamin, and a very, very good performance from them. When the England side came back out onto the field, Jason Gallion wasn't with them. He has a hairline fracture, the middle finger of his right hand. And we join play now in the West Indies innings with the first ball. Angus Fraser is the bowler from the City end. Carl Hooper is taking strike.
And a great start. Great start for Carl Hooper, that is. Not the greatest of deliveries from Angus Fraser. Overpitched. Very much a little bit of a loosener, this. But a textbook reply from Carl Hooper. Well, that's right through him. Well, now that Darren Goff has got his line right, showing Campbell in all sorts of trouble.
Tremendous ball. There's just the right line, just over off stump.
wonderful stroke. Campbell knew he didn't need to run. Beautiful shot before. Four there. And the length and line from Darren Gough has been very ordinary so far this afternoon. 22 for no wicket.
That was short and wide, and Carl Hooper basically just had to guide it through the backward point area for 4.
It's a good shot. Just threw himself at that, Carl Hooper. And a misfield. The outfield is very fast, so successive boundaries. And equally good. Fraser clapped his hands to his ears, but it may only have been he didn't want to hear what Atherton would be saying. A nice juicy little half volley there, and a big extra cover drive. A great shot again. Beautiful stroke from Sherwin Campbell. He's played the cover drive magnificently today. 48 for no wicket now, and these two are playing very well. That's a lovely stroke. And a half century up with this opening stand. Some very good play from Carl Hooper and Sherwin Campbell.
Change of bowling at the pavilion end. Angus Fraser now replaces Darren Gough. Oh, what a cracking shot. What a wonderful stroke. As if Stuart Campbell said to Gus Fraser, welcome back. 56 for no wicket, and here's Gus Fraser. Runs in this, they look for the second, and they go. Oh, what a throw that. And an appeal, and they call for the third umpire. Terrific throw. Darren Gough really let it go, but he was in. How's that, they say, and that must be toast.
Must have been very close.
Four runs. Scything shot. Maybe not quite the sort of thing you'd say you want to put into the textbooks, but very, very effective.
Again, Fraser quite wide, and even though Campbell's foot did not come across to the pitch, I think his eyes were totally on the ball, and bat hit the ball just in the middle, just in the meat, and 4 runs once it left the bat.
Well, a good response too from Angus Fraser. Brings the smile from Sherwin Campbell, a nice broad Bayesian smile. Not the first time today that he's been sat on his backside. things being held up just for a few moments while the stewards clear a couple of errant spectators from the field. Let's just hope there are no interruptions to Carl Hooper's concentration. That might be off the glove. Yes, it is. Carl Hooper is out. Dominic Cork has struck. Short and down the leg side. Carl Hooper will not be happy with that. Tried to fend it away, but just flicked the glove on the way through.
I think this was smart bowling here by Cork, because Hooper's concentration might have been snapped a little bit by the interruption we had, and the immediate ball to bowl would have been a short ball into the body coming up to the rib cage, and Hooper just succeeded in gloving it to short. So I think Dominic Cork bowling a lot with his head there, recognizing that Hooper might just have lost a little bit of concentration looking at other things.
And for the first time in this series, Brian Lara arrives at the crease with some sort of total already on the board. It's 73 for 1. Four runs. Now, this is the only danger, or this is the main danger for England, that if Peter Martin is going to take a little while to get loose, is going to offer up something like this, and Brian Lara is going to get into his stride pretty quickly. It's a time to try and put the pressure on the batsman. Four more. It wasn't a kind bounce for Matthew Maynard at cover. Peter Martin has offered up two juicy morsels there for Brian Lara. He's devoured them both.
A wonderful stroke. Played really well, Sherwin Campbell again. That innings at Lord's gave him a lot of confidence. He's dealt severely with any half volleys that have come along. That's a wonderful shot from Lara. There was almost nothing wrong with the ball. I suppose it might be said it was a fraction on the short side, but a lot of players would have played that purely defensively. A wonderful stroke. Just a little bit offline again, Peter Martin. He was over pitching early on, and there was short outside the off stump.
Yes, he didn't need much room at all, just a bit of shortness of length, and it gives him lots of time. I think he sees the ball quite quickly.
Four more. Good shot. Just plays doggo for a while, Sherwin Campbell, and then as soon as there's something a little bit offline or short, very, very strong in his stroke play. Two more runs added to take it along to 104 for 1 at the close of play. What a day for the West Indians. Hooper out for 40, Campbell unbeaten on 38, and Lara batted very, very carefully there for his 21 not out, and to me he looked very dangerous for tomorrow. 5 extras, 104 for 1. And the bowling figures for England, you wouldn't have thought it was the same bowling side as we saw at Lord's, where they bowl with their brains as well as their arms and feet. Here today, they were all over the place. 10 overs, 1 maiden, none for 35 for Fraser. Goff, none for 23. Cork, 1 for 19. Martin, none for 17. And Illingworth, 3 overs, 1 maiden, and no wicket for 9. So at the end of the first day's play here, England 147. West Indies 104 for 1. West Indies 43 runs behind at the moment, but they have 9 wickets in hand. And I would imagine their manager, Wes Hall, is just about over the moon. At any rate, he had a word with David Gower at the close of play, and David asked him if the team's morale had been affected by the events of the past week.
Well, you know, morale is something that you can't legislate, and we were a little bit upset, I would think, but our morale had not slackened in any way. I do believe that on tours, as you know, things can happen to upset the entire morale of the side. But you can take corrective measures, which we did. But we didn't take any corrective measures at Sussex. That was excruciatingly painful to be beaten by an innings just before Test match. But we had a 3-hour meeting in Sussex, and I think we put it right.
Are you allowed to tell us what was said at various stages, the key points of that meeting?
Well, I think, first of all, when you're down, you have to get one to fill your motivational tank. You have to get refocused. You have to be mentally strong. You have to believe in yourselves and things like that. Things were slipping. People were, you know, they're good cricketers, but if you're beaten by Sussex by innings, you get a bit upset sometimes.
When you arrived here and looked at this pitch, what did you think about that?
Well, it's like Jacob's coat of many colors, and therefore we thought that we would have to play on it. You know, if we had won the toss, we probably would have batted, because obviously you don't want to bat last if it looks dry, since we don't have spinners to exploit it. Well, we do have Hooper, but you know, we do feel that batting last would be a disadvantage.
Well, I suppose it depends which team is batting last, but Geoffrey Boycott might have his own ideas on that.
Well, England had a bad day. West Indies out-bowled and out-battered them. No doubt that the pitch was poor, uneven bounce all through the day. But quite frankly, the West Indies fast bowlers got more out of it than England. The West Indies fast bowlers are very tall men. They bowl faster than England, they banged it in, they got some awkward balls to rise, some very difficult balls to play, and sometimes some totally unplayable balls. This must have played on the England batsman's mind, because all in all, only one of those very difficult balls got an England batsman out. Graham Thorpe got a lifter right by his chin, very difficult to play. The rest of the batsmen played some very poor shots. Wide balls, hitting it at cover point, and quite frankly, their old failings surfaced. They gave the wickets away too cheaply. It wasn't easy, but quite frankly, they should have made more than 147. West Indies are in a strong position. They batted sensibly and well tonight, and quite frankly, when the England players go to bed tonight, they will think they'll have a mountain to climb tomorrow, and believe me, that mountain will look like Everest.
Well, certainly tough times ahead for England tomorrow, and one of the big problems they have is that in recent times, when they've done very well in a match, or even in a day or two, they've had to manage to step up to the next level, and they certainly didn't do that today after their wonderful performance at Lord's. So problems for them tomorrow. We'll be on air here at Edgbaston at 10:55 a.m. on BBC One. At the moment, from the Edgbaston ground, it's good night. England were outplayed by the West Indies bowlers yesterday. Gone, got him.
What's out? That's out.
In the airport, brilliantly caught. What a shame.
But they had their chance this morning to get back into the game. It will, though, be a long, long haul for the bowlers. Welcome to highlights of the second day's play here at Edgbaston, and I can tell you that there's a big question mark against the England bowlers today because of this batting lineup for the West Indies, who start at 104 for 1. Cooper out for 40 yesterday, Campbell 38, and Lara 21, and a big innings in prospect for Brian Lara. He's the wicket they want so desperately. 104 for 1 at the moment, and the bowling figures for England: Fraser number 35 from 10, Goff number 23 from 7, Cork 9 overs 2 maidens 1 for 19 was probably the best yesterday. Martin 5 overs for 17, and Illingworth 3 overs 1 maiden, none for 9, but none of them, I'm afraid, really bowled anywhere near the standard they set at Lord's in the last Test match. The state of the game on the second morning: England 147 all out, West Indies 104 for 1, Campbell 38, Lara 21. West Indies 43 runs behind on a pitch which yesterday had some uneven bounce. Here's Geoffrey Boycott to talk about it this morning.
Second morning, nice and sunny. Well, you can see this pitch. You can see the 12 foot from the batting crease, how it's been cut for the spinners, but they've played no part in the game. It's these areas where the seamers have been bowling, and why are the West Indian bowlers getting more out of it than England? You see these grassy areas here? I believe that the West Indies fast bowlers are taller than our lads. They're faster bowlers, so they bang it in from a great height. And they bang it in wide of the crease on these green, grassy areas here. This pitch has had 2 rollings this morning and yesterday in between inningses. But you see all these grassy areas, when the ball hits these, These are very fresh, they're tufty areas. The ball hits that from a great big, tall, fast bowler, banged in hard, it bounces up alarmingly. And I just think they've got more pace, more height, they come wide of the crease, and they just are better bowlers on this than England. But quite frankly, it's not the greatest test pitch, but it's actually not as bad as England's batting made it yesterday.
Just as I said, a stiff examination in prospect for the England bowlers. We join the second day now with the third ball of the first over. It's Dominic Cork bowling to Brian Lara. 1 run has been added, and that came from a no ball.
Big shot and got him. Brian Lara is out, the third ball of the morning. Dominic Cork is celebrating, the England team are celebrating, and that's exactly the start of the day that they would have prayed for.
I think this is perfect start for England this morning. Dominic Cork, of course, coming in with real aggression, and it would be very difficult, I think, looking at the slow motion replay, for the umpire not to have given that one out. You could see the leg stump. Brian Lara seems to be in front, and I think umpire had very little chance not to give that one out. So the perfect start, the very perfect start for England this morning.
Hand off the bat, but the ball is through. Brilliant piece of work just inside the boundary, but Matthew Maynard signalling that it wasn't quite in time. Either he or the ball hit the rope. 4 runs. Oh, flicked away off leg stump. Well, showing Campbell, every time he ends up on the ground like that, manages to smile with it. That was very close.
The thing about this ball, I think, is that it didn't bounce as much as Campbell expected. It was not a bouncer, and the umpire did not signal one for the over.
Well, now there's trouble. If he hits, there's big trouble. Well, showing Campbell on the deck again, but for different reasons.
A serious miscommunication here between the batsmen. There's an old adage that says you should not run on a misfield.
Well, it's just a question of how quick the outfield is, and there's your answer. No chance of catching that one. .50 for showing Campbell, and what a way to go to it. Wide of off stump, but that was as hard hit as anything we've seen in this test match. And continuing a very good run of form by the Bajan. Or more. Well, this is becoming a big problem now for England. Runs are coming too quickly.
Oh, yes, indeed. That was plumb, or so it looked from where we're sitting here. We'll have a second check on the replay, which is something we can have, but the umpire can't. 141 for 3. Jimmy Adams gone. Cork again has slipped in something that looked to me to be a little quicker. Just beat the stroke played by Adams.
Quicker and didn't bounce as much.
141 for 3 now. 64 to Sherwin Campbell, who is calm and purposeful out there. Not having a problem, and he's just been joined by his skipper, who's had a few on this tour. Great player, great batsman.
Shot. Lovely straight bat.
You don't really want to let those get past you. This ground is very, very fast. Grass is short, weather's hot. He gave that a bit of Larry Dooley. It was wide enough for him to throw the bat at it, and he certainly did. A beautiful stroke. He played really well this innings, Sherwin Campbell. Timing is superb. No room for error so far as the bowlers are concerned. What a beauty. What a cracker. Campbell, who's played so well, has been defeated by Cork, who's been magnificent. Just 21 away from a century at Test match level, and Dominic Cork has knocked him over.
Yes, I think he's done him a little bit for length here, and the ball didn't get up too much. He's played back to a ball that, well, perhaps he could have played forward. They prefer to play back, the West Indians. They play on harder pitches at home. That's a very fine innings. I'm sure there's a lot of disappointment not making a century. He missed out at Lord's, he missed out here. But it's another good innings in his learning process.
West Indies 156 for 4 and Arthurton, the new man. Well, there's that stroke again where he's got his footwork just struggling a little. Still got it away to the boundary, but for one fraction of a second, Fraser might have thought he was through.
I agree, Richie. He seemed to fall over, did Richie Richardson. You watch him here. Most people hitting that through mid-on. That foot gets right over too far, and then he falls off balance.
No, Stewart's got it. It's just a question of whether the umpire thinks he hit it. It'd need to be two noises there, because the second one would have been part of the clothing.
Well, he's certainly close. But I can tell you, I wouldn't be walking for it. I'd be waiting for the umpire to make up his mind.
That's a good shout. Just see the batsman's weight falling over, and Cork bowling wicket to wicket from so close to the stumps.
Yes, I think this was just going down, but causing problems. Not a lot there. You see, they get tucked up, the feet don't move. They don't like this wicket to wicket. They're not used to it. Yeah, that ball sat up again, a bit of uneven bounce, but it didn't sat up or sit up quickly.
Angus Fraser. Oh, just out. Took a long time for Ian Robinson to decide there, but he's a man who always takes his time over decisions. Agonising it can be for the batsman and for the bowlers as well. Keith Arthurton has gone OBW to Fraser for 8, the 4th wicket down this morning and the 5th in the innings. Junior Murray on his way out now to take Keith Arthurton's place. It just straightened a little bit, that ball. Looked as though it pitched around about middle and leg and just straightened there. So, the question for umpire Ian Robinson. He's extending his right arm, and his index digit there was is it pitch in line. Would it have hit the stumps? And the 5th West Indian wicket is down. Good shot. 2 men out there waiting for the catch, and the junior has split them. Good stroke.
Junior Murray here, ready to take up the challenge. Darren Gough is going to bowl short. More often than not, he's a very aggressive bowler, and Junior Murray just deciding that regardless of 2 men being on the boundary, he's going to go for the shot anyway. That's the way he bats.
Another one, just as good a shot. And a no ball as well. Well, there's a nice start for Junior Murray. The softest, juiciest half volley you'll see straight after lunch, first ball. And Junior Murray has smashed it away through extra cover.
Yeah, it's a shot play with the consummate ease. Usually plays everything on the onside. This was just an effortless little off drive, and it shot away.
That's very well bowled. If the England bowlers can do it, must bear in mind what effect the West Indian bowlers might have. That ball has continued to climb all the way through on its way to Stewart.
Yes, it was a ball as well that Richie didn't really have to play. It was certainly a very good ball.
He's given that a tremendous belt. Junior Murray has smashed that straight down the ground. Great shot from a late order batsman.
Yes, it was very full and gave him width. Plenty of bottom hand into that. Well, that's his strong area, Junior Murray. 4 more, down to behind square leg. You can't afford to give him anything on his pads, on his legs. He does hit outside to in, mid-off, and all through the onside are his favourite areas.
He's picked it up. That's a wonderful reflex job from Stewart. It was dropped by the man at second slip, and how Stewart got across there to take that, we'll not know until we see the replay. Junior Murray was looking very, very dangerous. 26 for him from only 24 balls faced, and England have the 6th breakthrough.
Yes, I rather have the impression that he didn't quite have to play this. A little bit of width going away, and a simple catch, spilled, and great reflex. And it was actually great reflex because first slip went with his left hand, and that would have put Alex Stewart off as well, but he still held the catch.
Just left the batsman a fraction, just there. Hick, out, Atherton didn't quite touch it. Good thing. And Stewart grabbed it. Wonderful reflex catch. 198 for 6 now, and that was looking really dangerous with Junior Murray. Played very well, played some lovely clean strokes. Some excellent bowling figures for Dominic Cork. 18 overs, 5 maidens, 4 for 46. He's been off the field, went to hospital. Suspected fracture in the index finger of his left hand. He's come back with it strapped. Has come back on the field, but there's no fracture.
Well, that's loosened the shackles as far as the West Indies captain is concerned. It's a shot we've seen many a time over the years, but not so much in this series from him. And his bowlers have regained control since that opening partnership of 73. Four runs, short and wide, and got exactly what it deserved. Even if Richard Richardson didn't really time it, he was early on the shot. He did quite well to reach it. Oh, dropped him. Low and quick. Once again, you've got to say, tight situations, you need to catch those. Let's come through without the edge. Always the feeling that something's about to happen here, but the wicket just not coming.
That's as good a ball as he could have bowled, just outside off stump.
And four more. Well, it's either the edge, past the edge, or four. Exciting cricket for this crowd here. They can hold up the scorecards. That's beaten Dominic Cork. That won't please Angus Fraser. Not a man who enjoys any runs coming off his bowling, especially if there's even the slightest hint of a misfield.
Well, that was a fantastic shot. A very hot welcome for Darren Gough. A no ball to start with, but that was like the old Richie Richardson. Good shot. And see how Richie Richardson actually maintained his balance so much longer, much stiller at the crease. Batsman out of form, falls over, probably jabs the ball onto his foot, it runs out on the leg side, but the man in form stays up straight, head over the ball, and that's the result. And the 250 comes up. And with those last runs, the 50 partnership came up as well. All sorts of milestones, but all achieved by the batting side. In the air, it's caught him, and the slow bowling does it. It was the line that really did it. Bishop's such a good player on off stump, gets right forward in orthodox fashion, blocks and drives, but suddenly a ball comes down along middle and leg, and he scoops it to mid-wicket.
Well, it was a nice little floated lollipop going down leg side, and he just chipped it straight to mid-wicket. If it had been a batsman, he'd have knocked it off for four, but he's a very talented bowler. But he did make a very fine 16 runs before he chipped this to mid-wicket. And believe me, 16 doesn't sound a lot, but in the context of this game, 16 is very important.
So Kerry Benjamin is the incoming batsman.
Oh, that's a super shot. That's the sort of Richie Richardson shot on the up that he used to play in his best form. Watch this, off the back foot, on the up, that's the Caribbean drive.
Well, it didn't quite go where he wanted it, but it's 8 runs from 2 balls. And a very, very good knock from Richie Richardson. Not one of his prettiest, not one of his most flamboyant. A little beauty for the West Indies.
Oh, beauty, absolute beauty from Peter Martin. That's where he wanted the better batsman at the crease. It was too good for Kenny Benjamin. Four runs, just over pitched. And even Kenny Benjamin taking advantage. Didn't have to move the feet. The ball arrived. All he needed to do was get the bat onto the ball and he got his runs. Great shot, lovely shot. England have three men on the offside attempting to save both the ones and the boundaries. That was beautifully placed. Oh, just past the outstretched hand. It was a miscue. Peter Martin, with a little bit of a desperate dive, just tried to reach it, couldn't get there. Well, they're coming back to the third. He's not going to make it. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Kenny Benjamin was keen to get Richard Richardson onto the strike, and he had to take on the arm of Michael Atherton. Well, it needed just probably a slightly flatter throw. It wasn't a bad throw, just always that yard to bring the ball down to the stumps, and that's the key moment there. Well, that really is as close as you can get. Well, there you have it. That's as marginal as you will ever get with that sort of decision. Well, the bat has got to come over the line. Part of the bat, something must be grounded over the line. On the line isn't good enough, and that was just how close that decision was. So Kenny Benjamin is run out for 11, judged out by John Holder with the aid of our television pictures. What you must say, what you can say about this decision is that Ian Robinson absolutely right with such a critical decision to say, let's go to the third umpire. And you can see there the bat hasn't crossed the line, it isn't grounded behind the line. The bail is already just leaving its socket at the top of the stumps. And so that is a good decision, it is the correct decision. And chance of another one. Well, he's hit. And guess what? Successive balls, Ian Robinson making absolutely sure again that the decision is going to be right. He correctly took that option first time round, was proven right. John Holder played his part. For some reason here, Courtney Walsh was herring down this pitch when his captain was trying to check where the ball is. And a great piece of work here too. Direct hit, not a problem with this one. That's well, no worries here.
And I think this one is a little bit easier for the third umpire, John Holder. The ball is hitting the stump just about now. I think Walsh is run it by at least, I'd say, 4 or 5 feet.
Well, I must admit, on that occasion, I would have thought that Ian Robinson actually could have taken the decision himself without really having to check. Courtney Walsh run out first ball. He hasn't faced a ball. He isn't going to face a ball in this innings. And a gift there for England. 292 now for 9. It brings Curtly Ambrose to the crease at number 11. Curtly Ambrose, of course, nursing that groin injury that is sustained bowling in England's first innings. Great shot. So he's really launched into that, Richard Richardson. It's gone over the top of cover. Bounce 20 yards in from the ropes. He knows that with Curtly Ambrose at the other end, what runs are coming in the rest of this innings are largely down to him. And so any opportunity must be taken. Edged away. In the gap. Straight on the ground. Curtly Ambrose has 4. And the West Indies have 300. So a good psychological mark for them to have passed.
Oh, and he's played it on. The end has come for the West Indian captain. Wonderful innings by Ricky Richardson. So responsible, so cultured and so controlled. Plays on both plays of the 69. And the West Indians are 300 all out.
.300 provides a very good lead for the West Indians, and they did a good job there, particularly their skipper, Richie Richardson. 69 for him. Not a memorable innings from the stroke play point of view, but for gussing it out, absolutely tremendous. He's not been in good form, and today he knew precisely what had to be done, and he just went out there and did it. Sherwin Campbell, I thought, played very well for his 79. And down the bottom, Junior Murray, 26, Ian Bishop, 16, and Kenny Benjamin played valuable innings. 300 all out, and the bowling for England. Now, Fraser, 31 overs, 7 maidens, 2 for 93. Cork was the best, 4 for 69 in 22 overs and 5 maidens. A wicket to Martin and 1 to Illingworth. Illingworth once again did a good job. 8 overs, 4 maidens and 1 for 11. Just what was needed from Michael Atherton in that situation. At the state of the game, at the end of the 2 innings, England 147, West Indies 300 all out, West Indies 153 runs ahead. Now the situation as regards replacement players, Curtly Ambrose was off the field when the West Indians went out, and Williams took his place out there. Alex Stewart didn't open for England because of being struck on the finger twice whilst wicket keeping, and Jason Gallion, who was the reserve opener if anything happened to Stewart, has a hairline fracture of the middle finger. He couldn't go out there, but Robin Smith has gone out. And if that all sounds complicated, that's nothing to the way it must seem to the England dressing room. We join the England innings now with the 3rd ball of the 1st over. Courtney Walsh is bowling, and Robin Smith, the replacement opener, is taking strike.
Robin Smith is off the mark, and there's no 3rd man, so that's 4 runs. Four more to Robin Smith. 2 fours and 2 balls off Courtney Walsh.
It was a good away swinger. In the end, Atherton managed to get it off the middle of the bat. Timed it well enough with the fast outfield that they'll pick up 3 runs, but it drew him into the stroke. Not much doubt about that. That is kept low. It's also darted back about 2 feet off the seam. And it's made a horrible mess of the ash behind Michael Atherton. Brilliantly bowled by Courtney Walsh. Michael Atherton didn't do all that much wrong. He just left a bit of a gap there. Didn't get up at all. Hit round about halfway up the stumps. Atherton bowled by Walsh for 4. 17 for 1. Yes, it's come off his glove. I would say glove, although he had his back to us there. Might even have been the handle, but we'll just need to have a look at the replay with that. Graham Hick is out, and it's 20 for 2.
This was a brute of a ball. It was bounced short of a good length, but just came at quicker than he expected. The umpire was quite positive about this, and again, an excellent decision by umpire Robinson.
For 2 now, and England in disarray with a deficit of 133, and they have 8 wickets in hand. Four more. Robin Smith says to the bowler, with a little shrug of the shoulders, that well, he won't have said he's sorry, but he might have said couldn't do anything about it. That is one of the things that will stick in Graham Thorpe's mind for a long, long time. And everyone in position of authority in the England team as well. That wasn't a very good stroke, I'm afraid. And it has the England side now 26 for 3.
Well, that's the reaction of a man who knows he has sinned. 26 for 3. Thorpe gone without scoring, along with Michael Atherton for 4, Graham Hick for 3. And the only man so far who's survived, Robin Smith, 18 not out. Well, the shackle's broken now. 4 runs over the top. Have the space to play with. No one down there, of course. All the great bulk of the West Indies fielders are up, hoping for the edge rather more than the cut. So welcome relief for Dominic Cork. Good shot. Good shot from Robin Smith. Richie Richardson really speeding after it. And he'll just have to put that down as a training run. There was a good race on there between Richardson and Jimmy Adams. Well, right place in the bowler, right place in the batsman too. Good confident push gets Dominic Cork 3. And the cheers, somewhat ironic around the ground, are greeting England's 50. 50 now for 3. That's past Richard Richardson and 4.
No more runs added, and at the close of play, 59 for 3 for England. Atherton out for 4. Hick for 3, Thorpe no score, and Robin Smith is there bravely again, playing extremely well, 1 or 2 edges, but he's got plenty of courage, Robin Smith. He's unbeaten on 33, and Dominic Cork has come out ahead of Stewart and Gallian. He's on 15, 59 for 3, and those West Indian bowlers did the job for Richie Richardson. Only 3 of them. Curtly Ambrose is off the field, doesn't seem to have made much difference. Walsh 1 for 36, Bishop 6 overs 3 maidens and 2 for 8. And Kenny Benjamin, 2 overs, no maiden, and no wicket for 15. Well, it's been a tough day so far as England are concerned, and here's Geoffrey Boycott now with his ideas on what has happened and what might happen tomorrow.
Well, it was a terrific day's cricket in 2 parts, really. England this morning had to climb a mountain, and they did, basically through Dominic Cork. He got stuck into the West Indies batsmen, raised the spirits of the team and the England supporters in the crowd who got behind England, and thought they'd really made a breakthrough and got themselves into the match. But nobody had reckoned without Richie Richardson. He has been out of form, he's struggling, and he showed it today. He hung in there, basically through courage, tenacity, no real skill involved. It was just sheer guts and character. Not his most memorable innings, but my goodness me, it might be one of the most important innings he's ever played for West Indies. After that, England were down, and they were further down when Walsh, without Ambrose and Bishop, got stuck into them at the end of the day. They've gone home tonight thinking that if they want to save the game, they've got to pray for rain. If they want to win it, they've got to bat out of their skins tomorrow. They must bat most of the day. and I mean most of the day, and somebody's got to bat exceptionally well, probably Robin Smith, if they're going to win this game and set West Indies a target of a minimum of 150 to win.
Well, tough times ahead for England, and the West Indies certainly have done wonderfully well in the first 2 days of this match, so much so that the Satchel Swingers resident at Birmingham have declared all bets at an end. They've closed the book on the match here at Edgbaston, the third test match of the series of 6, and that gives you an indication of the way things have gone. Nothing good in it for England today. We'll be back on air at Edgbaston tomorrow, BBC One at 10:45 a.m. Today at Edgbaston, people queuing up to get in. England 147, 59 for 3. West Indies 300 all out. England still 94 runs behind. And it doesn't sound all that heartening for the overnight not out batsmen Robin Smith and Dominic Cork. We join them for the 4th ball of the morning. Ian Bishop is the bowler. Robin Smith has taken strike. 1 run has been added, and this particular ball might be a forerunner of things to come.
Oh, that's not short enough to duck.
Well, you see the wicket keeper and one of the slips appealing for LBW there, because that ball didn't get up. He got down enough, and I don't think it's that short as David said, but it hit him on the shoulder. I think it would have gone over the stumps, but the first reaction by the wicketkeeper was to appeal. Because if you do duck and the ball keeps low enough and it's straight enough, you could be given out, LBW. Wouldn't be leg before wicket, but it'd be something body or something before wicket.
That's the first wicket of the day, beautifully caught. Well, any thoughts that the England camp might have had of seeing this pair seeing through that first hour have now disappeared. Dominic Cork playing away from his body, basically guiding that ball straight to third slip. It was the substitute fieldsman Stuart Williams, and he's a very good slips catcher. So he made no mistake. Dominic Cork is gone for 16.
Well, I was just making the point that he had to stay there rather than be trying to play shots to balls wide of him. Look, he's only had a couple of balls this morning, and he's trying to play a back foot forcing shot to a ball wide that he could have left. And I don't see the situation calling for this type of shot. Nice catch, but there's an old saying, if you don't give catches, they can't catch them.
And there's the answer to one or two of the questions we've been posing already. Peter Martin is coming to the crease. So neither Alex Stewart nor Jason Gallion in fit state to take their position in the middle order now as a true batsman. And so Robin Smith is already accompanied by a tail ender. 61 for 4. Things not looking good. And Edgbaston visited today by John Major in the company of MJK Smith. Oh, well bowled. Well bowled.
Well, I think Bishop should thank the umpire here, because if he has mentioned to him about pitching it up a bit more, that's what he should be doing. I think if you pitch it up just a yard or so, you still get bounce, and that's when you cause problems to the batsman like that. We've seen Smith ducking balls a touch shorter, whistling past his head, but they actually don't get people out. Those do.
Well, Robin Smith giving himself a severe lecture, and quite rightly so.
Well, I think this shot is one of his failings as why he's not a good opening batsman. He's a very talented middle order player when the ball is softer, but he cannot resist that shot. Well played. Brilliantly played that. That's why he's so good against the fast bowlers, if he would stop just trying to beat the ball all the time. Played this brilliantly. That was quick and difficult and spearing into his body. A lot of people have got in difficulty. See how he went wide, he speared it in. I can watch that all day because that's mark of a quality batsman who can play the short ball.
Oh, that's close and gone. It's kept low. Peter Martin on the back foot. Really snuck through under the bat there. Courtney Walsh has struck in successive overs.
Well, Peter Martin, he plays these quick bowlers by just playing back to almost everything and staying there and waiting for the ball. This one kept a touch low on him, but you would have thought if he stayed back, he ought to have played this. His first movement is back, the ball just comes in, you'd have thought he actually should have got some bat on that.
Hit him right in front of off stump.
He was a bit late though, wasn't he? I mean, the ball kept low, but it really didn't do anything. He was late with the bat coming across it.
Well, Peter Martin was sent in above Jason Gallion. He's now on his way out the crease for his second Test match innings. He only made 7 in the first innings. Looked good enough during that stay before dragging one on from outside off stump. No ball. That's off the glove, is it? Yes. Jason Gallion last 2 balls. Courtney Walsh, his line is impeccable, his length too much for Jason Gallion here. He couldn't get on top of the ball. He's hardly had time to worry about the pain in his fingers, but the gloves have taken another blow. Jason Gallion is gone for naught. And Courtney Walsh has struck again, quicker than lightning.
Yes, I got the impression that this ball bounced a little bit, but I didn't think it bounced alarmingly. The line was so good, it made him play outside off stump, just got up a bit, look, that's around about chest high. I didn't think it was an alarming bounce, that. Just that he is a small guy, so the ball doesn't have to get up too high to get it into his chest. Yeah, I didn't think that was too difficult to play. That was very disappointing off the glove.
Next, please. Like the dentist waiting room out there. And Darren Gough is the next man into the firing line. Well, 2 yards short of Kenny Benjamin round the corner. Really is an awkward spot. That line into the chest, into the rib cage, is really the ideal line for any quick bowler, especially for a batsman who's only just arrived at the crease.
It's amazing how this pitch is very different when the West Indies fast bowlers are bowling and when England's bowlers bowl. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with the fact that they're quicker than ours and they're taller. They just bang it down.
Robin Smith's first runs of the morning. Keith Atherton can't catch it. And the home crowd has something to cheer. Typical Robin Smith shot outside the off stump, managed to keep it down in front of the gullies. On top of it well.
You see here, he's put himself here as Richie Richardson. That's what Bishop walked all the way down the torch. He's moving away from fourth slip because he thinks it's liable to go steered off the face into that area. Yep, and he bowled for it because it is Robin Smith's favourite area, square of the wicket and sort of gully area, and he doesn't always keep the ball down. But wide of the crease, banged it in and said, there you are, if you want to go for it. I think you're better off ducking and weaving, which he is doing most of the time, and just occasionally, if the odd ball's really right in the slot to hit it, then take it. But when the ball's unpredictable and it's bounced and you're trying to steer it over the top, anything can happen.
That's hit him as well. Well, he's managed to sway inside the line so many times this morning. The line of attack has been relentless. The length and the line have been almost identical all the way through from Ian Bishop this morning. Smacked him hard on the shoulder.
Yeah, I think you've just got to take a knock or two on these sort of pitches. You've got to show courage and tenacity, a lot of character, and he does that. That's why he's a good player of the fast bowling.
Nasty. Just wide. That was completely involuntary bending away by Darren Gough.
Been a couple of those this morning that looked as though they might have found the outside edge, gone through to the keeper. This one produced a sort of a half-hearted appeal. It's gone away the same as one earlier did. The ball seems to swing after it goes past the bat.
I think it hit his sleeve, Richie, as well. I think there was a noise. I think it just clipped his right arm or sleeve as it went past, and then it went. He plays, he misses it here, and it just catches the sleeve there, the right arm. Good umpiring that. I think that's hurt Robin Smith. I think that's a terrible ball. I think it's hit him on the elbow. I think it's hit him round about the elbow. I think that's hurt him. I don't know how you play that well. I mean, this is pacey, but it cramps him for room. It's suddenly up and into his body. Yeah, I think it's hit him a nasty blow there. Yep, round about the elbow. It might just have missed the worst part of the elbow, but I've seen people get hit on the elbow before, myself included, and you're struggling to bat. I think it just caught him at the side rather than full on.
Yorker. I'll field it. Fielding has been mostly high class. It's one of the reasons West Indies have done so well in this game. Right from the start, their catching's been good and their ground fielding sharp.
There's been a lot of talk about this pitch, but I think that groundsman Stephen Rouse and his assistants have done very well here. They've just prepared a kind of pitch that I think that fast bowlers enjoy. If you're a test batsman, you have to be able to enjoy this kind of bowling.
That's one of the problems we highlighted a bit earlier. A ball pitching on that spot normally will be flying at batsman's shoulder. That one went through it round about top of the pad height for Darren Gough. The portents are that England will go one down the series here. In the air and over the top.
Well, this one didn't bounce as much from Bishop. Good pace, short of a good length, and I think Gough he played the right shot, but something on the top edge and got 6. I think Ian Bishop now should be concentrating to bowl just a couple of inches closer to the batsman, because I think Gough is going to try to get anything that is short. He's going to try to pull it, and even though the man has been set down there, I think Bishop should be more advised, perhaps, to bowl so that the batsman could edge to the big slip cordon that he has.
Very difficult law and playing condition to administer, the one relating to short pitch bowling, because we've seen quite a number of occasions in this innings where the West Indian bowlers have been the subject of the raised finger indicating one ball that's against the playing conditions. It's above shoulder height, and then a second one, and just then Gough hooked Bishop for 6, and the bowler was told that that was the first one of the over. So sort of an anomaly there somewhere, I think.
Well, that was a frightening ball, and it's a no ball. Must be a question about that sort of ball around the wicket to a tail ender, under the law of fair and unfair play.
Well, it's interesting that Darren Gough is now turned a tail ender. When he was beating Australia 1 year ago, he was an all-rounder. I'm not quite sure I understand that.
Well, take a look at that. Well caught. Well caught in the gully. It was pitched well up this one after the short pitch softener. The ball well up, and the batsman went straight for the drive, and it just flew off the face to gully and was well caught. And Darren Gough goes. Brave little innings, scored 12. And Courtney Walsh takes 5 wickets in a test innings for the 11th time in his career. That's how it looks now. 88 for 7, the England score. Great disappointment for England this morning. There was talk of a fight back. Richard Illingworth is coming out to bat. The story we had of Alex Stewart was that his finger was in worse repair than Jason Gallion's. Gallion's been in and out. Alex Stewart has yet to appear. And Courtney Walsh, look at those figures, 5 for 45, 14 overs and 1 ball. And they go up for that. Everyone claims it. Courtney Walsh runs through, not out. It didn't look as if he played at it.
Again, I think this is an excellent decision by the umpire. That he played at it, but I think it hit the arm guard, which is higher than the glove. Therefore, could not have been given out. a little bit of gamesmanship, I think, by Courtney Walsh, because I think when the appeal was denied, he looked back at the umpire and smiled.
Bowls him, plays on, tries to take the bat away. But just the culmination of overs of hesitation and really uncertainty about his method. Robin Smith goes 41.
Ian Bishop's 100th Test wicket, and what a performance. He's just under 19 per wicket and now taking 100 Test wickets. You could not ask for a better effort from Ian Bishop. Robin Smith, I think, played very well and not getting out the way he would prefer, of course, on the edge to the stump. A good effort by Robin Smith, but then I think a really tremendous effort by Ian Bishop, coming back from double broken back, if you will, and still being able to produce this kind of fast bowling. 100 Test wickets in a career that has spanned a fairly long time because of injury, but it's tremendous that he's come back and done so well.
And Alex Stewart is not padded up. We hear that from the dressing room, so we presume that this is the last pair of England batsmen out there. The innings has lasted this morning just under an hour and a quarter. The bowling has been ferocious. Walsh and Bishop, Bishop and Walsh. Alex Stewart, who had injections in his finger, really had a great problem with his hands over the last few months. Richard Illingworth stands absolutely still there. That's not a bad method, in fact. You can bob around too much, but if you do stay still, you have a clearer view. The England physio rushes on, not for the first time in this innings. We said that Richard Illingworth had played that quite well. He may have been struck straight on the hand. That's caught, brilliantly caught by Hooper. Tosses the ball up. Great jubilation for Ian Bishop. Alex Stewart will not bat. Richard Illingworth makes his sad way out. Illingworth caught Hooper, bowled Bishop naught. The 9th and final wicket of the England innings falls. So West Indies go 2-1 up in the series with 3 Test matches to play.
Well, it's no good looking at that and wondering what might have been. The West Indians were simply too good for England there. The double-figure scores, Robin Smith 41, once again played very well in adverse circumstances. Dominic Cork 16 and Darren Gough 12, but the rest couldn't reach double figures. Extras is the only one to add a little bit to that, and 89 all out. That was a thoroughly dispiriting performance. I wouldn't have liked to have been batting on that pitch, mind you, but I'd have also liked to have seen a bit more nous from the England batsmen when they were facing those 3 bowlers. And bear in mind, it was only 3. In fact, Kenny Benjamin not even needed, as we can see from the bowling figures. Overnight, he was 2 overs for 15, and that's the way he stayed. Courtney Walsh, 15 overs, 2 maidens, 5 for 45. A super effort from someone who came in carrying an injury. And Ian Bishop picking up his 100th Test match wicket there, 13 overs, 3 maidens, and 4 for 29. The story of the match: England 147 all out and 89 all out. West Indies 300. West Indies won by an innings and 64 runs and lead the series by 2-1. Well, it has been a very dispiriting game for spectators. The match effectively was over in 2 1/3 days, and the one up at Headingley, the first of the series, was over in 3 days because of the weather. When you take all the lost minutes and hours into account, it only lasted